Doom. The game that wasn't the first FPS, but the first one to define the FPS genre we know today. Along with Wolfenstein, but Doom for some reason was the one that catapulted the FPS genre into the mainstream. So with that, it's easy to say that it's one of the most influential series of all time, spawning a bunch of clones, but most of the time it's a bunch of devs paying homage to a series that they grew up playing. This is one of those games to me, a studio who wants to show love to a game that started it all. Sort of. Doom sorta kinda started it all. This game doesn't really have a story besides some text at the end of each episode, so we're just gonna jump straight into everything else, which there's a lot of. So starting off with the art style for this game, and honestly, it's really good. It really does hit those nostalgia beats. The pixel art looks like the old Doom and Wolfenstein games. Each level has a surprising amount of detail in it, despite it being a pixel art style. And the devs did a really good job of making you feel like you're in each environment in each episode. When you're in Antarctica, you feel cold and isolated. When you're in the industrial area, you feel like a cog in the machine. By far though, my favorite episode is in Egypt because even though it's a sandy environment with pyramids and stuff, somehow it never gets boring to look at, and each level had me in awe. The devs did a really good job of making each stage feel unique and different, despite each episode only having one central theme. There are 5 episodes, each one has about 5 missions, and each episodes have up to 5 stages, which depending on the difficulty you're playing on and if you're looking for every secret in these levels can go anywhere from 5 minutes to 30 minutes long. So you could fly through these pretty fast if you want, or you can save and put some serious time into it. The first episode is set in medieval times, so most of the time you're in a castle and in mazes. The second episode is in Antarctica at this research facility. The third episode is in Egypt and you are surrounded by pyramids, sphinx, and sand. The fourth episode is in an industrial area, so there's nothing but steel and robots as far as the eye can see. The final episode is in hell, but with elements of previous levels mixed in. As an example, they take some of the stuff from the Antarctica level and put eyeballs and stuff all over the walls. It sounds kind of lame at first, but it works in the grand scheme of things. These episodes have a lot of secrets, whether it be secret paths or rooms. They are well hidden to the point to where you won't even find most of them unless you're walking around spamming the interaction button on the walls and ceilings actively looking for them. You would think because of that you could just skip them, but actually you want to find them. They contain one thing that is essential, and that is extra lives. These are essential if you're playing on hard. You only get 3 lives at the start of each episode. If you use up all 3 lives, you have to start the episode over again. You'll be surprised how fast you can use up these 3 lives on hard. Not only because they do more damage, that's a given. There's actually another reason. Enemy placement and speed. Those are the real problems and why the lives can easily deplete. There are no sound cues either, so you'll be walking around, open up a door, next thing you know, you're being lit up by 7 or 8 people before the door is even fully open. Also, remember, you're playing on hard, they do more damage, so most of your life is gone before you'll really even be able to assess the situation. A lot of these maps are huge and there's no mini map, so having to replay a level isn't the worst thing. Trying to remember everything though could be a problem for some people. There are RPG elements in this game, nothing too crazy like Skyrim or Fallout, but just enough to keep you invested. There's a hub area that you do all the RPG elements in, and you come here at the beginning and after each episode. This hub area has 3 machines, one to upgrade your stats, one to upgrade your weapons, and another to buy spells. When it comes to the stats machine, there are 4 stats that you can upgrade: strength, life, spirit, and capacity. Strength increases melee damage, life increases health, spirit increases max mana and decreases the amount of mana used when you use spells, and capacity increases the amount of ammo and grenades you can carry. Every 5 levels you earn a perk point. These are used to unlock certain points that can vary from getting health back with melee kills to getting extra shotgun shells when you pick up shotgun ammo. Each perk has its own requirements, like you have to invest 5 points into life or 10 points into spirit and so forth. The other 2 machines that you use for upgrading your weapons and buying spells use these things called upgrade points. When it comes to the weapons, each weapon has 2 different upgrade paths you can take, but you can only choose one. It can be something like adding extra barrels to a shotgun or turning a minigun into a turret. There are a lot of weapons, 10 plus, so there's a lot of paths you can take with these upgrades. There's only one weapon I would like to highlight though, and that's the grenades. The grenades in this game are absolutely the worst and the best thing in this game. Why, you may be asking? Well, that's because their properties are fucked up. The grenades in this game have a mind of their own, and their mindset is to fuck you up as much as possible. The shrapnel from them will fuck you up with no hesitation. I know if you're too close to a grenade in a video game, you should expect some splash damage. I get that. But in this game, where the shrapnel not only flies everywhere and bounces off every surface known to man, the grenades themselves go flying off in different directions or take too long to blow up. For most people, the best course of action when it comes to that will be to hit the enemy directly. Well, I hate to tell you, you can't do that either, because sometimes the grenades fly straight through the enemies. Yeah, you heard me correctly. The fucking grenades go straight through the enemies sometimes. Also, remember what I said earlier about how fast the enemies move? So if the grenade manages to hit them, it doesn't matter because they're already in your face. The grenade will explode and do massive amount of splash damage, either killing you or leaving you damn near dead. It sucks that they're programmed like this because they're amazing. When they work, they'll clear out a room in no time. So my advice is to only use these grenades when you have the drop on the enemies or have a bunch of cover, because anything outside of that, you're dead. There aren't too many spells to talk about, but there are some. There's a spell where you can summon a shield to help negate some incoming damage. Another spell lets you shoot out an orb of lightning. Honestly, I didn't use the spells too much outside of those two that I just mentioned, simply based off the fact that they use the same upgrade points as your weapons. I'd rather walk around with 2 akimbo SMGs and a quad barrel shotgun than shooting lightning orbs and such. Not saying that it's not a viable way to play, because it actually sounds cool and I might end up doing that one day, but I'd rather have my quad barrel shotgun. So I know I didn't go into too much detail about this game and really get into all the nooks and crannies of it. And also I know the latter half may have sounded a little bit negative and kind of lopsided, but I have to document everything that I go through, and that's essentially what I did. Not only that, this game doesn't have much to it, because at the end of the day, it is just a simple Doom inspired game, which is nothing but running around and shooting shit. And that's what you get out of this. Yes, there are some light RPG elements with the upgrade systems and you being able to spec your character out with life and all of that stuff, and you got spells and all of that. But at the end of the day, the name of the game with these kind of games is running around and shooting shit. And that's what you do. And that's where it's good at. And that's why it's good. So you can find this game on PC, of course, but it's on PS4, Xbox One, and even the Nintendo Switch. So if you have any of those, I highly recommend picking it up.